Hello, everyone. Welcome to this reading and intuitive channeling. I wanted to come on, talk a little bit about what I'm feeling, and kind of throw out there. Again, this is always for feedback. I know that my energy sometimes comes across as me doing this without a return. I hope that made sense. But the basis of all of this is for interaction and maybe even correction on my part if I'm saying some bullshit, right? So I've been feeling, it really does feel like the end of January 2026. That's when I'm doing this recording, this live stream. I felt into, before coming on, the sensation of how it feels after you've just finished taking a really hectic poop. Sorry to get a little bit grotesque. And I'll try to say sorry less because this is really how I think and how I speak, and we all poop. So the experience specifically of being very uncomfortably constipated. And you know when the constipation, it really, really hurts. But you have to keep going. You have to keep being present for the process. It's not like you can fucking stand up and just leave while this shit is trying to leave your body. The whole experience of it, this is how I feel about the process of being constipated. It's so intense every time. It feels very, very aggressive. It honestly feels a lot like purging. Dark night of the soul. Just not really, well, this is such a funny energy to open a reading with, and just talking about poop, but this is the experience. The energy of this experience is what matters most here. And because I'm so detailed in each experience, every moment and every sensation matters to me. It all goes in the vault. I can retell a very intricate story about how intense it is to be constipated, but hopefully you have your own experience, and I'm trying to draw more to the end of that process, just as you've let the poop out and you feel like, finally that's done. That's what this feels like. I've experienced today so far, I'm doing this at 11 a.m. Imagine, I've only been awake for a few hours, but I've already experienced a kind of like actual external goodbyes that were a really, really, really long time coming. And that while they were happening, I did not understand why I couldn't say goodbye. So, very big thing about timing. And mentioning the poop story, very big thing about the way I'm understanding it, allowing the process, and more specifically, allowing your body's process. Because I think there is something to be said about the sensation of constantly experiencing an emotion or a shadow or whatever in cycles. There's something to be respected when that cycle appears again and you go back in again, you know? The necessary respect, I think, is rooted in the sensation of surrender. And like I'd mentioned, giving way to the process. You try your bit. Obviously, always keep trying as much as you can with whatever energy you have. But also, be willing to step back and let the process play out. Let your body, with its already coded intelligence, take the lead in signaling to you how you feel, the way you think about certain things. I've done so many readings on this and mentioned this so many times. I feel like a parrot has its own intelligence. The way it communicates with you, everything about what happens to it can be taken as a communication to you that is only for your observation. Not so much for your okay, take this information, process it, let's do something with it quickly. Sometimes your body just tells you things like, oh, it's just telling you things, you know? Over the past, for example, over the past month into the ending of this month, as the solar flares were just going absolutely nuts, as our emotions were doing topsy-turvy, as external bullshit was happening, to all of us, but more to me, it was very internal. My body began reacting in a way that it did very similarly around last year, actually, which is very interesting. I developed these really weird rashes, but it's only actually happened twice. But with the alignment that happens with the astronomical movements, I understand how this is my body speaking to me. Also, understanding that illnesses is body communication as well. This is not to say that you cut all kinds of external intervention. Shout out to every single available system that is here to help us. I do not want to speak down on any of it, regardless of all the greed that's present in those systems. They're still helpful. I'm just saying that there is a lot more room for us to take the lead than we have been programmed to understand. And now, with this great conjunction approaching in the next 2 weeks between Saturn and Neptune, and I believe both of them will be in Aries, it feels like something about standing in front of our energetic sovereignty will be important in as many ways as possible. And I think the simplest way to take advantage of your energetic sovereignty, learn more about it, is to, yes, work with your intuition, connect divine source, all those lovely words. But on the practical, foundational level, I think it begins with listening very closely to the way your body responds to things and to what it does randomly during the day. I saw a tweet a while ago now, and so I'm going to paraphrase pretty terribly, but this person very casually was like, so does anybody else get those random chest pains that you don't really know what to do about? So many people reacted, responded, and basically agreed. And it's things like that that's like, in another reality, or I guess in the previous reality, when we were living very codependently with these systems that are there to help us, if you got a chest pain, you'd probably immediately panic, think you're having a heart attack or some shit, and rely on that system. But more of us are taking energetic sovereignty and sitting with what our body is saying. We are interacting with what we have around us. And a lot of the time, the things we have around us are exactly what we need. This can go as far as your home and your place of living. Hi, Navu. Your place of living has plants and vegetation outside that are the exact kind of thing that you could maybe brew in a tea or some shit and help you feel better in whatever way. Like taking control of yourself in all the ways that you can right now, especially in that way, feels really, really important, getting started on those things. If I feel called to mention you've been interested in starting a small garden, I have for a very long time now, get right to it as soon as possible, in whatever way. Don't let anything stop you from getting the wheel turning. Even if it's a matter of, oh, it's the wrong season to start it, then do research in the meantime and wait it out. You know, work with your environment, work with your timing. Hopefully we learned everything. But it feels like I need to be more detailed about this. Hopefully we have, it feels honestly like the new year hasn't really started yet. It feels like 2026 hasn't really begun. And it feels like the real way that this year is going to actually start for people is once they themselves start doing something, anything at all, outside of the normal structured calendars we live, work, school, whatever. Do something else that connects more with your own. Do something that reminds you of your image of God, that reminds you that you are the image of God. Create something, literally. Like, if you're very handy, the thing is, you can literally do anything. Like, you could take cardboard and you could make tiny little cities. I follow an interior designer who just loves making print. She just likes painting on ink paper and making patterns and making collages. And that's what she does. That's how she works with her hands. And she does it religiously. Do something like that, you know? Something like this, I've been saying, creating a YouTube channel or social media account and being interactive, not with the idea of getting engagements or following. It's not that shit. More about having that social media account exist as a way that you further understand yourself and your identity, like how you choose to be on earth. Create an account that ties very closely with who you choose to be. Like, I had an account running a while back where I was just posting really gorgeous pictures of clouds that I took on a daily. And I honestly just did that because I just wanted somewhere to keep all the beautiful clouds I was seeing. It was lovely. I'm remembering that now. It's been a while since I thought about that. But anyway, something like that, you know. I'm also feeling into the idea of getting a new skill. And I think it would be particularly fun. I think a lot of people are going to do it anyway, considering the Neptune conjunction, to start playing with your telepathy. I'm sure we've seen enough on social media about how people can move foil. There's this guy who can use his energy to move fucking paper cups and shit, you know. I've also seen some people, this might be a little bit too far above or over the line because this involves spirit interaction, but I saw somebody put a fan next to the grave of her son. And with no wind blowing, the fan began to turn as she communicated with her son's spirit to please turn the fan and let me know you're here. And he did it, and it spanned so fast, and it was such a beautiful video. Oh my God, actually, such a beautiful video. Anyway, things like that. Just getting active about being aware of the other worlds, interacting with them, and seeing how they interact with you too. Seeing how you can work with them. And this often happens with my lives. When my nephew walks past and he wants to come to me, but you know. Anyway, interacting with the other worlds and seeing all the ways that they are real. I do think that those other worlds are going to become realer and realer, and there's something very special that's going to be happening with plasma and fire. I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling very much into how the body of the essence of plasma is going to start taking on a shape of its own, where it's as if that plasma it's as if it I don't know how to describe this without sounding too. I don't like doing that. I like staying based, but I really do think fires are going to start having lives of their own, and interacting with them is going to start feeling like a very different experience. So maybe I'm imaging the experience of having a bonfire and the group sitting around the bonfire, how energetic that moment can be, how many realizations you can come into just by sitting in pure silence and watching a fire burning. I think that's all the ways that the plasma is coming alive and awakening things in us in a way, just by us staring at it. I think I'm done yapping. I'm still trying to process a lot of the endings that have come, specifically of this day and of this month, what this month was trying to do. It feels like it's continuously more, honestly, really heavy lessons about the power of our will and our attention, and and how every single bit of attention counts. It really does. As much as we wouldn't want it to, because of how exhausting it can be to stay on top of your awareness, it does. But it's a push and pull. It's a game. We're figuring it out. And please remain hopeful in your ability to keep it, to figure it out. Remain hopeful that if there's anything you don't know, if there's any problem you cannot solve, the solve will come naturally if you don't already know what it is, you know? Cool. Perfect opening card. This is what I'm feeling. Like I said, that sense of really letting out the shit and finally pooping it out and be like, free you. Phew. Oh, a real sense of relief. And also just a sense of like, wow, I worked really hard to push that poop out, you know? Worked really hard to process all of that. Your body also did a lot of work in turning those energies around. Outside of the shit metaphor, this is like the spiritual work. One's being spiritual. This is spiritual work that we've been up to this month. I honestly feel like I'm hoping that February will be, I don't know, it feels like it'll be a chance for us to play in the arena, you know, to play the game, see with all the things that we've learned, see how all the things that we've learned will affect our reality moving forward. Specifically about yourself, I'm feeling into a sense of like, remember the work that is continuous work it takes to believe in yourself. And not just to believe in your capabilities, more to believe even in your ability to fail and to fall down and get back up again. And how that is all you need actually to be successful, is a willingness to fail and try again and keep fucking trying until you get it. That's it. That's actually the secret to success. Oh my God. So when people sit down and they're like, so what advice can you give for anyone who wants to just keep trying? Just don't stop. Just don't stop. Just don't. Don't stop and keep focused on whatever that thing is, whatever the reason is that you're doing the thing. Keep trying, keep focused on whatever the reason is you're doing the thing, and you're eventually going to get the thing. It's science. It's science. There's no reason to process failure in the way that it's been processed before. There's a new way to define all of that stuff now. No more victimhood. No more shame. No more. Exactly. I fucking love that I was saying that while I was saying no more shame, no more victimhood. Fuck yes. This is wonderful. It's too good. This is also giving anybody who was if anybody was dealing with like, obviously I'm getting court case here, but it's very few and far between that I find that part of my audience, they're dealing with court cases. It just doesn't feel, it's just not something I feel. I feel most into the fact that a lot of people who watch my stuff are annoyed by the system, the courts in general, so they would try their best not to get involved in it. But if by chance you are involved in a court case, you know someone who is, thank God, alhamdulillah, the case is closed. It is solved. Whether or not it is, all is well. All is well. It's been a long time. It's been a long time, a long process. January was also a very annoying revisiting of the shadow stuff, just over and over and over and over and over again. It was so exhausting. So hopefully, again, you understand how to deal with it again as it comes, because it will come. Suffering comes. So as long as you understand as it comes, there's always a solve. Always. Or there isn't, and you simply have to allow time to time. This is also giving the sense of remembering that you are not stranded. The spiritual fortification of the fact that you are never ever stranded. You are always, like, imagine this is you and these are your ancestors, your angels. These are all little bits of God that supports you always. Always. I'm going to shuffle for one more card. Thank you. Oh, of course. 2 more cards then. Let me just sit with that. Okay, cool. It's the Magician and it's the 7 of Wands. So this could be, it could be really annoying if I'm reading for somebody who's really been on this motherfucking journey of spirit, refining your awareness, learning how to manifest and be powerful and do it in a good amount of time that makes it a scientific experiment and not something that's like a one-hit wonder. Every now and then you manifest something big and then every other time it feels like, fuck, you know? This feels like a graduation. This feels like the universe signaling to you in some way, I don't know, but saying, oh my gosh, we have the 6 and the 7 of Wands. Wait, that's so beautiful. Hold on. I'm looking at it like this, with the 6 and 7 in the middle. And then we have Justice on one side and the Magician on the other. I love the story. I really do. So yeah, anyway, it's, wow, that's actually really cool laid out like that. It looks amazing. This feels like an upgrade from the universe, where honestly, the universe and your internal world being connected, right? Your internal world signaling to you, or you just having a realization, it comes in a feeling, not so much words or thought. It comes in a sensation where you feel like you've achieved something else about the way you're able to control your reality, like something different. Something different has happened. And it feels like this difference happens in, like I said, the way you feel. I'm feeling into an upgrade in your inner confidence and your trust to fight, your trust in yourself to be able to fight. It's again the thing that I mentioned about how problems aren't really problems, and the real road to success is just to keep trying and keep focused on the intention you're trying for. This is giving an understanding, an energetic understanding of that. I think even if you don't feel it now, I hope that you can get a sense of how powerful you would feel if you knew that there's nothing that you couldn't do. Let me unlock the phone for you. Please close the door, baby. What would you do and how would you move? How would you be? How would you think if you knew that there was nothing that you couldn't do? Let's see, baby. If you knew there was no failure that would be too big for you to try to overcome, if you knew that whatever came, you could overcome it, how would you look at things differently? How would you move differently? How much more differently would you feel? The day-to-day basis would definitely be feeling more hopeful, more lighter. Things would be a lot less serious in the energetic investment sense, and more serious, because there is still a sense of seriousness, or rather, let me say, not seriousness. Okay, I think I'm confusing seriousness with like passion and, seriousness with passion and ambition. Okay, yeah, no. So a detachment or a letting go of the seriousness and being so involved in things. This is, I'm getting the frequency of somebody who used to take things very, very personally. And that attachment to making everything personal was very disempowering for them in a way they didn't realize, but now they're realizing and coming to understand how they can be more lighthearted. That in itself is an energy cleansing. If you can like walk lightly, and try to toggle this living experience between a 3D reality living and a very spiritual, constant symbolism and communication, and walk very lightly between those worlds. That's the sweet spot. That's the part where you can manifest and bring things in. The energetics of it is a little bit complicated to explain, but it is very easy to feel because we're all capable of feeling it, and it feels like we're all going to feel it. This does also feel like what could come from the Saturn and Neptune conjunction if you can remember to release victimhood. This is so, so, so important. We have been building up to this for a very, very, very long time. I think I addressed this shame frequency last winter. So like more than 6 months, more than half a year ago. This feels like we are coming to a breaking point of that, where it will be a kind of test, but we will all pass. Well, everybody who watches my shit, we're going to pass. But it's still going to be a test. And you're still going to have to go through the proper tunnels in order to upgrade to this point of being able to manifest very quickly and bring in unions with the perfect people. No longer kind of like wasting your time with very low vibrational connections and odd conflicts that just feel so draining and like they don't make any sense. This feels like an overcoming of all of those kinds of things and knowing exactly when to be like, wow, this is some bullshit, waste of my time, I'm walking away. This is also, so to extend on this energy I was just talking about, if you tend to be caught up in a lot of narcissistic cycles and loops, consider all of that dead, honey. God bless. And hopefully you can like release all of that. Release all the people who treated you in a narcissistic way. Try to care so much less about all of that bullshit. And really put in the fight to care more about things that matter to you and to align your awareness to things that matter. This is a really, really, really wonderful time. This is a very good congratulations. There's lots of reasons to be excited, but I am feeling that there's no space. It feels like there's no energetic space to be excited right now because of how long and how hard the fight has been. But whatever, it'll be enjoyed when it comes. This is quite interesting. We have the Ace of Pentacles, and then the 5 of Wands, the 5, 6, 7 of Wands. Stunning. I love that story. I love the presence of all of them. I love the clarity of the communication and investment in energy. Like, yes, we're tired. Yes, the fight has been long. But it also does feel like we can keep fighting. We can, right? We can. Yeah. There is no giving up with you. And that's just incredible. These two together, along with this actually, this is a very blatant refusal to give up. And that's awesome because the universe, that's what God loves to see. Everybody loves a fighter, everyone. So shout out to you. I am also getting the potential of conflict, but the conflict that arises, and it is giving that it may or may not happen at work. It does feel though like it will be a fun little exercise on energy control. It's going to present as a conflict, but I'm feeling into the likelihood that you'll be able to manipulate your way. You'll be able to manipulate the situation into being peaceful, which is always fun for me. I love to step outside of an experience and see how my different cadences and responses change the vibe of the argument or the discussion or whatever. I am getting like also a conflict between groups of people. But it just feels like there's been a lot of tension building up. We are also a day away from the full moon. So a lot of tension building up that needs to be openly let out and expressed. If you have any tension within you, any emotional tension, maybe even tensions about work, tensions about this victory that all these tarot readers keep talking about that hasn't fucking come in yet, right? Then I think letting it out might be very helpful. Getting angry about it might be helpful. I think as human beings, we have every right to feel every single thing. So if you feel a little bit frustrated with the universe right now, with your life, with your story about where you are at, then let that frustration out, but be willing to come out in the end of that looking at the situation again and taking control of what you can, you know? And just moving bit by bit. Like, yeah. The point is, feel what you feel. You have every right to feel it, but also you're not a victim. So try to process everything like that. Keep that affirmation running, running, running. Most important thing, you are not a victim. People in victim mode will lose. They will be crushed by this conjunction energetically. Beware of any falls of sickness, because like I said, the body communicates. So your body might try to let you know as this conjunction comes in that there is still some shame and guilt and whatever the fuck chilling inside of you that must be let out immediately. And that immediate sense, that sense of urgency normally comes out through illnesses and disease. Just the body's reactions. Keep up with your health. Very, very important. Ever important during these next few years. And in life in general, obviously. I'm going to put all of, well, actually, no, I will not. I'm going to leave all the cards here and pull one more card from the Intuitive Tarot. Hopefully the cards listen, although they have an attitude. Thank you. Of course, that's the card, the Tower. And I really love, I was observing, and like I said, because the universe, our spirits, these cards, they don't want to listen. She insists on the One of Swords as well. I was looking the other day at the illustration of this card and how beautifully Silla Conway drew was able to illustrate and capture the immediacy of change and the shock of something is happening and it's clearly about to affect everything. I like how she leaves the gap in processing. It's not obvious what's happening to this tower. It's not obvious whether or not it's going to like fall down and topple down all the way or whether or not it will stand. There's a lot of uncertainty. She really captured the energy of that, and I love that. I'm going to read the interpretation of the tower and then leave you with the hope that you are open to new perspectives, new ways of thinking, and yeah. Try to be as blank of a canvas as possible right now. It'll be helpful in bringing in what is due to you. Does feel like there's a lot due to all of us. More specifically, I want to say divine unions, connections, money, status, things like that. You know what I mean? The experiences that we've always wanted in life, we are due those things for real. But we have to open up so that the universe can bring them in ways that can be really expansive for us. Cosmic illumination, which is funny because apparently there's a comet in the air right now that's visible from the southern hemisphere. I just got that information like an hour ago, so I'll have to do more research. I'll link the video. I think everybody should watch it. World shattering event. Destruction of outdated situations or paradigms. Yeah, okay. So beware of the potential conflict coming up. Now I'm feeling that conflict is likely within the next, like, whatever, coming up. It's giving next week, but like the month is going to be pretty intense. But yeah, just be aware of that and of needing to have all of that clear out. Aggression isn't always a bad thing. Conflict is not a bad thing at all. It's an energetic signal. Just try to operate from that point of view to help the conflict move along. I don't know. Okay, and then I feel called to say, when in conflict with someone, please remember to do it's you, me, and the problem, not you and me against each other. Destruction of outdated situations, yes, cataclysmic events, either in the world or psychologically. It is giving that something really crazy in the world is going to happen in this upcoming month. But we shall see. Natural or man-made disasters over which we have no control. A new world emerging from the ruins of the old. Purification, trauma seen as rebirth. So I will link that video. It was Stefan Burns giving us a geophysical update. And in the video, he mentioned something like this, touched on the vibe. Pretty fascinating. He titled and directly referenced in the video, 5D New Earth. And I'm a bit iffy about that right now. The whole idea of New Earth, all the words, they're looking a bit convoluted. I don't know if that's the word, because of how it's being shown in American politics. Yes, it's very strange. It's weird. So I've let that go and I've decided to stay at home. Whenever the outer world looks way too hectic, I just return to my culture, return to the soil, return to where I come from, and I just sit there in that space. I don't know about all this 5D New Earth stuff anymore. I really don't know about it. It feels really, really strange. But Stefan Burns is very factual. He's a very much swords person. I could swear he's an Aquarius stallion or some shit like that. And he approaches the information very, very, very objectively, which I deeply appreciate. And the objective information is pointing towards the fact that energetically, and I'm sure even in our bodies we're all feeling it, it's about to be fucking crazy. The moon showed up very, very a lot in readings that I previously done. They are no longer showing up. So it's giving we are in the middle of what this thing is. So just be open to it. I am getting, the conflict energy is not leaving me anymore. And it could come very randomly, like out of nowhere. You're chilling, minding your business, and someone comes in and is like, you know what, I actually have a problem with you. Or you feel an overcome just inside. You're like, you know what, actually, fuck that. And just, just let it happen. Just let it happen. Be aware of all the points in which you can be defensive. This is, with the signal of this, it's feeling like it could come from within, where you just kind of feel like you want to pick fights with everybody and you have a problem with everybody and everybody's not doing the things the way you want to do and we're so frustrated. And everybody's just so da-da-da-da. I did a reading for a client yesterday who mentioned something that I've also said before, and I think it's a lot of what a lot of spiritual people say, the sensitives. We tend to get really irritated with like other people. We don't like people. we don't like it does feel like a communist situation. We're defensive as fuck. That's our issue. That's our problem. And be aware of that as well. In the spiritual journey, it does get to a point where your sensitivities begin to separate you from being able to blend in and be part of community. It does also make us conflict averse. Like, it makes us conflict averse because we start to process conflict as lower vibrational, or the things it brings up in us as lower vibrational. And that's why I like to, because it's not actually, you know what I mean? If we're looking at life as a circle, there's no lower, upper, it's all just fucking different. But yeah, be open to all of that shattering before our eyes. There are a lot of new things coming in about people, new things coming about the way you feel about other people, situations. More so, new things about the way you understand yourself. Energetically, what I've also been dealing with is internal frustrations, where just suddenly I'll just be feeling fucking angry today. No matter what I do, it'll just be like, oh, I'm ready to pick a fight with anyone. Even if I've meditated and prayed and done all the things that I can, I'm still pissed and I still feel like I want to fucking fight. This is the energy. It's energy. And it's like I said in the beginning of this live stream, energy we have to let happen. I take that now as signals that my body is processing a lot of sadness, and that better than fighting and being angry and arguing and all of that shit, being frustrated randomly, I should probably just cry. I am a crier though. If you're not, then that's up to you. You could work with fire, burning things. I used to just randomly burn paper. Watching it burn was very satisfying for me. Not as a child, like as an adolescent. And even now, when I do the rituals, burning the paper and watching it burn is very helpful. Like I said, plasma is gonna be, she's gonna be the gal. She's gonna be the gal. I really think there are actually a lot of secrets to fire and the sun that they know, if more of us found out about, would really break everything we understand about being alive and being human. Also feels like whatever those secrets they're keeping have a life of their own. And like I said, like the plasma is just growing and just kind of reaching out and being like, hey, they can't keep us hidden anymore. Look at us. Look. These are the secrets. This is what we've got for you. This is how you can manipulate your reality. Look at how nothing is real, you know? It's going to get pretty crazy. And for the girlies who doubt aliens, who doubt paranormal activity and communication, the girlies who don't believe in the influences of the planets over us as humankind, yeah, Godspeed with the awakening you're about to have. It's a big month of awakening for a lot of us. Thank you for watching. I feel like I rambled so hard, I do not remember much of what I said. So I hope it made sense. I hope it was helpful. I will see you in the next reading.